This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy and other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Today, two teams are fighting to secure their spot in the Stage 2 playoffs, and a world champion is facing elimination. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to VCT Americas, coming at you live once again. You already know where we're at, the Riot Games Arena, right here. Where is that, baby?
Right here.
Where is it right here?
California, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
He got it right. There it is. He got it right. Welcome back, everyone.
What notes are you taking on there?
Yeah, what notes are you... We'll worry about it later. Of course, this is Baby Bay here in the pink. You got Mimi, you have Ender there as well. Guys, I miss you. Miss your faces.
Yeah.
All right?
Me too.
You guys
You're our star today.
I've been, thank you. I've been enjoying my days off. You know, watching Super Week, you know, doing the things that we got to do because the work truly never stops.
True.
But of course, though, we have some awesome games on the schedule for you lovely people today. Coming up, we got two big matches. You got G2 taking on Crew Esports, and then you will have Loud facing off against Leviathan. These games, Ender, are massive because the implications can have ramifications for the tournament. For the playoffs,
right. Lev have already locked, but Loud need to win out from here to still have a chance. This first game is a lock. The winner is going to stay in, or actually just be in the playoff picture. There's still a chance, though, for a team like Crew Visa, even after an amazing Stage 1 performance, to fall out of the playoffs. Yes, Furia and MIBR have been eliminated, but you've still got so many teams fighting to be in the top six.
We were talking about Crew as, and don't get me wrong, great team, but there's something that has fundamentally fallen apart with that squad behind the scenes, and it's come out on the stage as well, Ender.
100%. I mean, this team was lights out in Stage 1. They dropped one game in the regular season at the very end to Leviathan.
Yeah.
And since then, winless in Stage 2, making big roster changes as well, taking out the IEGL. It is perplexing, to say the least.
Yeah, indeed it is. Now, by the way, if you were just tuning in and then you were like, there were no stickers on the wall, and then there were stickers on the wall now, it's because these two knuckleheads ran around and put the stickers on the wall. All right, so you're probably wondering what the heck this is behind us here. So we're in the home stretch, all right? And we got last 2 weeks of the regular season. They're doing their gentlemanly handshakes, but it's gone a little too far. Now, here's the thing, though, okay? It's time to take a look at our Stage 2 playoff bracket. But here's a little kicker here. Here's what the bracket will look like if everything ends today. It's over today. So, Mimi, what we got?
So if all of our standings stayed the same, we would have these teams locked in. The way the format works, top two, they get a bye. So right now, that's Sen and Leviathan, who only have to win one game to make it into Champions, which is a crazy advantage. And Lev winning today would guaranteed lock that in for them.
And on top of that, if they lose, they have another chance to run it back. Whereas these teams over here, whoever loses is going home. They're done.
But these teams aren't even locked in yet over here.
And that's what I was going to say. This is important to know. This is what the bracket would look like if we ended the season here and now, right? Today, if it was over. So these are not set in stone. Who are the ones right now in the bubble that are most susceptible to movement potentially?
So I think the team in the best spot to actually make things up is EG. Right now, they're only behind 100 Thieves by one round of round differential, and they still have some games to play. So there's a world. 100 Thieves loses some matches, EG manages to win out here, they could lock that in. But surprisingly, it's not even over for these other two squads either. Both Energy and Loud, if they win out, they could get a tie at 5-5 to then have a chance to go down to differential against some of these other teams and maybe actually lock themselves a slot. So technically, it's not over yet.
Well, no, it might be over for EG, though.
That's not what EG's
premonition.
That means Loud's it.
The universe is saying Loud always find a way.
Yes.
That's true. Loud always finds a way.
But
EG just falls off the screen.
Is even some of the top squads. G2, they're at 5-3 right now. They're not technically locked yet. Crew is also at 5-3. They're not technically locked yet. There's a world where this could go down to a massive tie of round differential, and you could get any number of random teams sneaking back in. they'll stay.
What about NRG? NRG's just like on their lonesome for sure. They can't sneak back.
What do they need to do?
One
So
more
they
game of
need
the
to beat
season.
Cloud9. Guaranteed they need to beat Cloud9, and then they're preying on Crew's downfall.
Is
as
this
well.
scientific, Mimi?
Not 100%.
Okay.
Not 100%, but I do have a degree in science.
In science?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm also
Okay.
an ordained minister.
Oh, I am too, actually. So look at that. It's quite easy. So there you go. I mean, you know, if I'm an ordained minister, it's a problem. All right, well, here you go. This is.
I'm just a gamer, man. What? I just play games, bro. My dog. My dog.
Okay, get back there. Get over there. All right, well, there you can see what the theoreticals will be. But don't worry, we have so much more to play this season. But there's one thing that we know, it has been a long season. And I know everyone's looking forward to a little R&R, a little vacacion, if you will. So we asked our players where they'd like to go, but we decided to keep it in game because, you know, theming and everything in a new episode of Profiles.
If I had to spend 1 week on a VALORANT map, I would choose Split, because it's just like a train station in Tokyo, I think it is. And so you can just basically go anywhere in Japan.
I'm on the beach on Breeze chilling, for sure.
I feel like I'd enjoy Breeze. Just chilling on a beach sounds like a good time to me.
Mira, si voy por lo lógico, elegiría Ascent, porque sé que hay un lugar que se llama pizza y tienes un pedazo de pizza para comer, entonces podrías sobrevivir comiendo esa pizza. Si no, elegiría Heaven porque me gusta cómo es el mapa en sí, o sea, me gusta como la estructura del mapa, entonces, una de esas dos.
Eu acho que eu moraria na Sunset, porque parece ser um mapa muito tranquilo. Tipo, você tá num lugar muito, sei lá, suave. Você tá tirando férias, tá ligado?
Ah, com certeza seria Breeze. É uma praia, já tiraria ali estresse, tranquilo. Breeze. I'll be on the beach the entire time.
Surely everyone picks Breeze. Like, what other map could you pick?
Definitely Lotus, you know, there's like water and cool little sculptures and stuff so you could like admire and enjoy, so.
Haven. The nice day out. It's always nice. You know, 3 places I could chill at. A lot of room in general. I like that.
Então, o mapa que eu moraria uma semana do Valorant, acho que seria Breeze, porque a Breeze tem praia, calor, caranguejinho, coco. E eu ficaria na Breeze. Mas, se eu tivesse com bastante roupa de frio, uma icebox também seria legal. Eu gosto de uma neve.
I'll say Breeze. You know, it got the beach on it, right? So if I want to spend something nice, I want to be on the beach.
I'll probably choose Haven, because 3 bomb sites, so there's a lot more things to do. Icebox, like in the submarine or something.
I would say probably Breeze. I mean, that's like the beach. You can swim as far as you can. You can see the crabs on the side. You can see the turtle. You can find your friends in the castle. I don't know. I think that's probably the best map. It looks cool.
Pô, eu gosto de frio. Acho que é Icebox. Eu me daria bem na Icebox. Ficaria lá no, sei lá, numa caixa de gelo. Ficaria tranquilo. Claro, né? Com roupa de frio.
Interesting. So many people chose Breeze, but then you're on Breeze, which is like, you know.
I don't even think there's food there unless you're fishing for yourself. Like, do our pros have survival skills?
Yeah, also, where they think this is vacation. God, this isn't like I'm on an island trying to survive.
Forget Breeze. How many pros said Icebox? Why was that a common
Icebox seems cool.
Why aren't we going to Pearl? Pearl is
Pearl's a great
objectively the best.
Actually, very true.
You have like the little tram from Lisbon. There's like a little like wine.
Yeah, but then
in an aquarium.
I was thinking Ascent, just because I want to be just
in
completely in the sky.
What if you fall off?
No. You see, you're talking about Pearl here, but what happens?
I'm too scared
How
of
often
heights,
are you just
bro.
randomly tripping?
What happens if the dome shield in Pearl breaks, and then you end up with some whales and stuff like that want to eat you alive? It's terrible.
Whales don't want to eat you.
That's what you think. That's what I fear whales. Anyway, let's go ahead though.
Damn.
Betty is in shambles.
I know, whales all over the world, absolutely devastated. All right, everyone, if they had access to the internet. Now, here we go. Let's go ahead, talk about G2 and Crew. Now, these two teams have met time and time again, 3 times to be exact here, and G2 has gotten the better of them each and every time, baby. So it feels like this Crew team can't quite get over the mental block or whatever the block is that is G2.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember seeing some interviews somewhere, or maybe just even me talking to Kesnet about it, and Kesnet was straight up like, yo, even in scrims, we just cannot beat this team. So I don't know what it is that they need to do to destroy him this time, but I will say it's hard to beat a team 4 times in a row.
It is. And the thing is, though, that Crew, I feel like, have had kind of a block for this whole latter part of the season, right? They've now had 5 losses in a row. It feels like they're kind of falling back into some of the errors of the previous Crew's ways. And it definitely is a factor in one of these games when you have that mental block, when you know you've lost this team so many times before. Once you lose that pistol round, go down a few rounds, it can really creep into your head.
Yeah, begins to really eat away at you. And of course, Crew are going to need to figure that out. But for now, though, let's actually jump over to Geek Heavy, who's standing by with G2's coach, Josh RT.
Joining me right now, we have G2's coach, Josh RT. Looking fresh. You looking fly right now.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, okay, so I got to ask you this. It seems like G2 was just unstoppable. Is that a fair assessment?
I wouldn't say so. I think we have the momentum right now. We just have a good process going. We're just riding it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious how y'all avoided like the whole like slump after like going through like a global event, because we've seen some teams that, you know, they come back after a Masters and they're just like they're unable to perform during the regular season. How have y'all avoided that?
With careful planning, honestly. I've learned from the teams in the past where, you know, that issue would reoccur. So it's about making sure they have enough breaks, making sure as coaches we plan the practices really well so that they're able to install the new meta in their brains a little bit. So it's like, you know, we kind of anticipated it, and I think we're doing all right.
I think so too. Now, final question for you. It seems like a lot of people keep looking at G2 as a bit of an underdog, which I mean, like, you all have proven yourself. So I'm kind of curious, how have you used that to your advantage?
Of course. I mean, we always like being underestimated, right? And like, just keep underestimating us. We'll take it.
Well, honestly, I can't wait to see how things turn out today.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good comments there from Josh RT, the coach of G2, and honestly, a lot of, you know, really good piece of material there, Andrew, because especially him talking about keeping the team away from that slump, being prepped and ready, just goes to show the work that this team has put into it.
100%. Them performing in stage 2 is a further testament to that fact that this team is performing, and they have to keep it up because for G2 and for Crew, both of our two teams, today a win sends you into playoffs, and that's the most important.
That's right. So that is the important thing to note here today. Both of these teams have the same goal here today. It's obvious. You want to win. But if you win, you get to qualify for the playoffs.
It is important to say, though, that losing does not mean they are not out. Crew's got another game versus C9.
You just want to win, but you don't really want to lose.
But one of these is going in no matter what today.
And that's so big, right? Have that weight off your shoulders for the rest of the group stage, guarantee that spot. Makes it a lot more doable as well to still have a chance to even fight for the top 2, which is massive in this format.
Yeah, and something, though, that I did kind of want to highlight real fast about what Josh RT was saying was talking about, you know, avoiding that slump. In your experience as a, you know, professional player, like, what is that work for you guys having to, like, readjust yourself in a meta?
Yeah, like after you got 3rd place at Masters.
After you specifically.
No, it's so slumping is such a unique thing, and it depends on what kind of slump it is, because there's individuals that slump within a roster, and then there's also a whole team slump, which is what we're seeing Crew go through right now, honestly. Yeah. Let's be honest. They've lost, the last 4 or 5 games they've played. So it's tough to get out of the team slump. The individual one, it's like, okay, I can take a reset, I can play some ranked, play a bunch of DM maybe, and just take a little bit of time off. But as a team, you have to have team building exercises, you have to have free time, like Josh said, but also the teams that actually made it to Shanghai, like G2, right? They didn't have a quick turnover, right? They had a quick turnover, so they had limited time to make use of how to bring back and what to implement into practice. Now, this team of G2, they've always been fundamentally so stable that this is an advantage that they've had, just being experienced as a core for so long.
Yeah, and if you look at the strength of schedule for these teams, it's not really getting any easier, right? Like, G2 have come out. They have gone through this one already with their 2 wins. But for Crew, they play G2. They're straight into C9. Those are all teams that are on the bubble for playoffs. And I think those are both games that are going to be really difficult for Crew.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely for G2 as well, the game against Sentinels, that is not easy either,
at all.
Right? So,
I mean, win today, you're going into that Sen game with it not impacting you making playoffs is a huge relief. For sure.
And an opportunity to make a statement as well, right? I mean, hey, if G2's playing this good, who knows what could even happen when you get to that Sentinels game, you know, next week. Like, it'll be absolutely mind-blowing. But here's the thing, though. Both of these teams played NRG last week. And you see, they had both different results, right? G2, of course, continued to look great post-Shanghai. Shanghai, which is what we were just talking about. They avoided the slump. Meanwhile, on the other side, Crew, well, you know, they kind of struggled a little bit on that one there, falling out toward the end.
Yeah, I think G2 looked really good in this game. I was especially impressed with the calling from VALORANT, despite NRG setting up, I think, some solid mid-rounds to get themselves into winning positions right late. G2 did a really good job of keeping the structure up, not giving opportunities to individual NRG players, and just keeping this a clean game. To me, this was like the pinnacle of G2. Good calling, solid fundamentals, nothing too crazy with the comps. It's exactly the win they're looking for to build into this stage 2.
Seriously, and just to give some context, this is a matchup that VALORANT's been waiting for like forever. And the fact that FNS basically dodged it for quite a bit of time by, you know, whatever happened within that roster, the fact that he got back and VALORANT was able to have that matchup, he was so stoked in it.
And also credit to VALORANT and Josh Ortiz. They went up against some really wonky comps in this series. And I think found the right adaptations really quickly to deal with them.
It is important to note, though, that Crew, they got smacked around a little bit. Like, they get the first map in that series, but then are falling to an NRG that was just pieced together in the last month. Like, that's kept NRG in the playoff picture, and that has made Crew, my stocks on them, go way, way down.
Yeah, I mean, they made this big change in the middle of the season, dropping their IGL, trying to switch things around in the roster, and to be honest, this game looked pretty messy. They had some good early opportunities on split, but towards the end of this game, I think we saw a lot of individual mistakes where players, very contrary to G2, were going out, swinging on their own, taking individual fights, feeling like they needed to make that play to save the game. It looked like such a reset from the Crew that in stage 1 was so clean, so put together throughout their entire near-flawless run there that it's really honestly reminiscent of what was happening last year, which is so sad to watch.
Yeah, I think they're going to need like a miracle run to make this one, you know, turn around, because replacing a player this late into the season, it's such a hard thing to pull off, even when you have such a big buffer that they had.
I also think that it does show that confidence in the team was really low. You don't just drop your IGL in the middle of the season if things are going well and internally the team is working. That is a really, really uncommon thing to do, and I think is a testament to how far Crew has slipped in stage 2.
And they have slipped so much that here's the thing. We went back and we looked at, you know, some of the stats and what the streaks were. I mean, Crew has had a weird time as a professional team.
Crew, there's no half measures.
They're a Sith who only deals in absolutes.
Literally, they are the streakiest team of all time. They can't win a game or lose one game on their own. It's 5 losses, 5 wins, 7 losses in a row, 5 wins in a row. But like you're saying, to go on that run, they have to get back on that upward streak.
Yeah. And do they even have the tools to be able to get into that?
I don't know anymore.
That's kind of been a point of conversation this stage.
No, seriously. And MTA, although, he was supposed to be on this roster from the start, I mean, his comeback has been really rough. He's not adjusted to the roles, maybe not also adjusted to being on the stage as well.
And that's what happens when you make a roster change in the middle of the season.
This deep in the season,
Yeah, I mean, you're literally right there. It's quite alarming, to say the least. But let's go ahead and hear from Kesnet about what he has to say when he talked to Geek Heavy ahead of today's matchup.
I am here with Crew's Kesnet, and my first question is, y'all have faced G2 in the past numerous times. Y'all were unable to beat them, so I'm kind of curious, do you think that there's a bit of a mental block when facing G2, and if so, how do you plan on changing that?
Creo que no tenemos un bloqueo mental y no se han enfrentado a un nuevo roster.
I don't think we have a mental block, and they haven't faced a new roster.
That is true. Now, Kesnet, let's get confirmation. You are not the IGL, are you?
No.
Okay, yeah, because you tweeted, and people were thinking you were. So in that case, the approach that you all have been taking towards IGLing, do you think that that's been working in Crew's favor?
Creo que no sé, creo que estamos jugando al feeling y nada, creo que hoy día puede salir bien.
I think we're kind of playing with what the feel is like, and I think today I'm gonna do well.
Cool. Well, best of luck today.
Oh, well, that was a whole lot of nothing.
I don't think he answered the question.
I'm just going to call a spade a spade. Come on, Kesnet. And even hearing him say that, right, it's like you look at the stats, you look at the situation, and it's like, well, it's very clear that they do struggle against a G2 team. But if I'm a Crew fan and I hear those answers, I'm not that motivated going into this matchup.
I mean, let's look at the games they lost. They lost 2 games in Kickoff, sure.
Yeah.
And then they lost in Stage 1 playoffs after they'd gone on their streak. So they were a great team in Stage 1 that lost to a G2. Now they're a team that looks really rough without an IGL. Like, I don't have confidence in this team to win today.
No, and they're up against a G2 who has gotten so much better since the last time they played as well.
Yeah, and also that interview gave me no confidence whatsoever.
It really did it, man.
I mean, homie was just straight up like, yeah, like I woke up feeling like I'm gonna, drop some bombs in the server today.
Yeah.
But G2.
So did I.
Yeah,
you know?
but
We all
also
say
like G2 know how to shut down star duelists. So if you and like the 1-2 punch in Crew, it doesn't seem to be there anymore.
Again, like that's so reminiscent of the winless Crew. It was Kesnet go kill. We put everything into our duelist. I'm feeling good. I'm gonna go out there and take some risks. I don't think that works against G2. I think they are probably the best team in our league at shutting down stars and focusing really hard on the fundamentals.
Yeah, and a big reason for that is Leaf. This is a guy who's so good at just picking apart some of these teams, whether it was in the past being in that duelist role front and center, but now taking a step back in the sentinel role, he has just been such a dynamic element for this team.
For sure, and I think he's always been lights out in the anchor position, but this series against NRG really showed me what he could do as a lurker. Like, all those times he was able to get into garage window and then break open around. Like, he was showing really good timings and game sense on top of everything you know about Leaf, which is the guy can shoot.
Yeah, absolute animal in the server. He has done it time and time again. He continues to prove why top 5, I believe, as far as I think, what was that, ACS goes or something?
Probably.
I mean, 25 kills on
had to have been something insane of that regard, but I mean, Leaf is an absolute animal for this team. But Mimi, I mean, can Crew manage to stop guys like him? And they don't even seem like they have much of a plan.
What's interesting is that the way Leaf plays doesn't take a lot of resources. In fact, in most rounds, he doesn't really have anything being used for him. When we talk about like resources being used for a player, think of a squad like Cloud9 who has like 2 initiators, setting Oxy up. Every player is built around him. Leaf so often is solo anchoring or solo lurking, but he's really good at finding his own timings, isolating his own fights, and in that way, I think he's a player who is way harder to shut down than just like a crazy star duelist.
Yeah, and I think a big factor in that is that he was a duelist before, so he has the confidence to take these one-on-one engagements, and he actually looks for them. He wants those 50-50s, but now with the IGLing of Valen and also the game planning of Josh, that's where he's been able to like develop as this lurk role now and actually understand timings and etc. So yeah, he's sick. He's the real deal for sure.
He's also a really vocal player who like is definitely adding some ideas and stuff to this team, helping Valen out with his info on those lurks.
Yeah, he's added so much to the arsenal of G2. But if you take a look at the other side of the field, though, we have MTA, a new guy not new guy, who was actually on the team before, but then taken out and now added back in. And this isn't really an opportunity for us to hone in specifically on MTA, but more so on the fact that like he's been put in a really difficult position coming into the tail end of the season like this.
In the roles that he's actually being asked to play on this team, because earlier, this guy was lights out on the KO, right? Absolutely dominating from that role. In the past, he's been a big duelist player, but now he's coming in and he's played exclusively Sova and Cypher, which is so different. Playing an info initiator in the Sova, completely different to playing the KO. And the Cypher too, all of a sudden, he's not like critical to the fights that you're taking, because a KO is going to be next to a duelist all the time, actively fighting. Now he's expected to sort of be on his own, and it has not looked very good. And I think it is sort of the situation Crew find themselves in, where they wanted to make roster swaps, but maybe people aren't on the right roles.
Yeah, makes you wonder as well, right? Like, he comes into this, he gets plopped onto the stage, and then he's just there like, oh, well, gotta show up now, and then you end up holding an L, and then you gotta go up against a team who the squad has struggled to beat not once, not twice, but thrice.
I mean, the crazy thing is, like, looking at this roster, like, this roster is pretty stacked to me.
Talent across the board.
Kesnet, when he came in, he's been popping off. MTA was lights out during kickoff. Like, you've got Shy Melzer. Like, I don't know. I feel like this roster should be a top performer, but no one's really calling the shots.
That's the biggest problem, right? I was on a team where we didn't have an IGL for about like 2-3 years in the beginning of the game, right? We just got one when we got poised. And man, the difference when we actually got an IGL was insane. It's just miles ahead. There's no conditioning that you have when you have everybody calling on the attacking side. You're not thinking of the longer term picture, right? So they're kind of just going off a feel, but you're not actually having a game plan towards how you're setting up rounds, et cetera, because everyone is just chipping in and, oh, I see a play here, this is great, but there's no bigger team play picture.
Because most IGLs, like Coach Penny, they're going to be like structuring a half, at least like the first 6-7 rounds and finding those little wrinkles and util of the information you're showing to the enemy team.
Exactly.
And what you're hinting at is like when you have different people calling round to round, that just goes away, right?
Yep. Yeah. So your overall macro game takes a big hit, and at a level like this, where honestly most things now rely on macro, you're gonna get destroyed, and that's why we've seen them struggle.
One of the best at the
I was
macro.
gonna say that.
The way that Valen and Josh build halves, will adapt within. They are super adept at
This is like the worst situation for Crew to be playing into right now.
I think this stylistically is actually probably one of the worst matchups they could have because they are playing against a team who is so structured, has such great attack side calling. With no IGL, it's tough to beat one of the best IGLs.
Yeah, well, you heard from our Americas broadcast team here, but let's actually go ahead and hear from our LATAM broadcast team because we have Geek Heavy actually standing by with Dryad to get her thoughts heading into this matchup and Crew's chances.
All right, joining me right now, we have Dryad of our LATAM broadcasts. So I got to ask you, let's just jump right into it. What's been the community sentiment in regards to Crew's change to MTA?
So what I've seen the most of the community talk about, they're saying this is either the best decision ever or the worst decision ever. They're 50-50 in it. The community has always been very judgmental of players that struggle to perform. And so there's this idea of bringing MTA, which is the promise of LATAM, but also understanding that he doesn't have a lot of time to adapt. So they're kind of 50-50 in it. It seems like they need to see more.
Yeah, so speaking of which, I want to ask you personally, like, what's been your take on MTA's performance?
I think he is doing the best that he can in his position. He was called to fill for Klaus in a matter of 5 days now. So it seems like he's trying his best to give that support, but he does, and he has admitted that he's uncomfortable. He's getting used to the new roles, the roles that he has to fill, the lineups, all those things. So I think he's doing the best that he can right now, and he just needs more time.
Absolutely, and this call was made, mid-season. So let's talk about Crew holistically. How has the team been performing in your eyes during this split?
They've been struggling, and what has been most surprising to the community is that for split one, when they were winning all those matches, you would see them smiling and laughing, and maybe they were losing a map, but they were still, it seems like they were having fun. And now you see them on the second split, even from the first match that they had, and they seem very serious, kind of, not having fun. So that has been the most surprising thing to the community of, what's going on, that they're not having fun like they used to.
Yeah, and I mean, like, at the end of the day, this is a game, so they should be having fun, So what do you think is the setback that they might be facing that's kind of like, I guess, stagnating them during stage 2?
The coach Adam talked a little bit about it on social media. He was saying they got lost in the losses and in what was the main focus of, we want to win and we're willing to do anything, whatever it takes to win. So I feel like that also connects to the addition of MTA, of this player who is so hungry to win and to get those matches, and it seems like he can be, at least energy-wise, that can help out and help them win.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dryad.
Brilliant breakdown there from Dryad as well as Geek Heavy about what we can be expecting from Crew. But it is now time to play VCT's newest and most favorite game in the world. Say it with me, guys. Wheel of Playoffs. Come on, man.
I did it.
You did it. You always have my back,
I didn't
brother.
know what it was called.
I've never played this game before.
Okay, so here's how it works. We got 6 teams on the bubble, and any one of them can still make the stage 2 playoffs. Now, everyone on this desk is going to spin the wheel and present a case for the team it lands on, and that's the game, Mimi. Baby Bay, you're up first.
All right, spin that.
That is the most flaccid. Yes! You are.
30 seconds.
Rehearsals.
30 seconds.
My boy Superman, that's it. Case in point, he's going to dominate my teammate.
What?
He's gonna
He's
dominate.
gonna do what?
Wait, you're not on the team.
Oh, sorry, I'm on Lev. I forgot.
You're not on.
Oh, no.
No, wait, what?
No,
You're
you're
not
on the caster desk.
Oh, my bad. I
You're
forgot who
not
I
on
was.
EG, dude.
You're not even on
the game, all right?
You're not even on the caster desk. You're on the analyst desk.
I'm doing the next one.
Go for it, Mimi.
All right, big money, no whammies.
Roll it again.
Do it again.
Oh, I got NRG.
No,
I got NRG.
Yeah.
Okay, NRG. Finesse masterclass. One way or another, he's going to be a part of the playoffs. Will it be co-streaming? Will it be playing?
Oh, so you're saying no matter what, Finesse will be involved.
That is like the
whether or not
least
NRG's involved.
argument I've seen.
No, but
You could be like, they just took down Crew. They're going to snipe another team. Sorry, I'm doing your job for you. It's my turn.
All right, Ender, what you got? We got 1 minute left. Oh, that's a solid spin.
Ooh! Come on, it's so easy. It's so easy. Taking a deep breath with me, okay?
Yeah.
And now.
Oxy,
baby.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Okay. Easy set.
All right.
Did
Hold
we
on.
learn anything?
No.
I'm gonna take a spin as well. Let's see what I got. Oh, that was a good spin there, brother. Cloud9.
Oh, you got Crew.
Oh, Crew. Kesnet is going to Kesnet all over everyone today, and that's how they get in. That's my analysis.
Okay, I don't think any of us said anything of value.
But I'll say that C9 just need to win a game, so they're gonna beat Crew because they have to play Crew, and I think
that's true. There was just no way that I could pitch that, but I tried my absolute best.
NRG's actually cooking also. Their comps are
Guys,
cool.
overall, good segment. Let's go ahead and get this show started. We got playoffs in just 11 days, but today is going to be G2 Esports facing Crew Visa, and then it's going to be Loud taking on Leviathan. VCT Americas starts right now.
La información, sin embargo, un impacto. ¡Qué hacen! 4K y listo.
Still with the ult into this balls, and that's how it ends.
Crew played them in the playoffs last split in order to qualify to Shanghai, and I had a very good individual game. I feel like the nerves kind of got to them.
Como mismo el torneo de Shanghai pudieron haber salido finalistas, o mismo ganarlo. Son fuertes.
They could only go up. I feel like their skill cap is very, very high, and they have some of the best individuals in the region.
12 segundos de ronda, va a buscar el control.
But we're just gonna have to keep our eyes on them. We don't know with the new meta changes how they're gonna play it.
Riot Games Arena, buscando su clasificación a playoffs con un rival muy conocido. Que se escuche para Crew Visa.
Work hard and play hard. Work hard and play. Work hard and play hard. Work hard and play. Work hard, work hard. Work hard, work hard and play hard. Work hard and play. Stand up, let me see you move. Stand up and play. Stand up, let me see you move. Stand up, let me see you move. Oh yeah. Let's do this.
And now it's time to bring out their opponents. You know what the song says. Buy the bundle, baby. It's G2 Esports.
Can't be called a newcomer. We've been up for several summers, seeking how to step in commas. If you with us, buy the bundle. Say you should buy the bundle. Barely time to buy the bundle. For this ton of errors rumble. Cause you know we titans in this game. Ain't no contest. If we take it to the game, to the Wild West. We ain't faking what I claim. It's a wild threat. No rook, we been a vet. Now check the mindset. By the name of G2. How to take over the world. How we come through. You just follow in the herd. We don't have to. Let's forget about what you heard. Probably ain't true. This ain't go-to, cause you know it's G2. How to take over the world, how we come through. You just follow
G2 Esports and Crew Visa both need this win here today. For Crew, it has been a struggle to be able to pick up a dub, and G2 has been riding a high since Shanghai, and they do not look to be stopping at all.
If either team lose, technically they still have a chance to make playoffs, but winning here gets it done cleanly, especially for G2, who has to play Sentinels after this. As we look at the maps, though, it's pretty bog standard here. All the maps that, honestly, we've seen a lot of from G2. I think their Lotus has been pretty strong when they were showing it back in Shanghai, but I think the question is around this Ascent, where they were playing that Neon comp last week.
Wonder if they're going to change anything up or maybe just try to continue to refine that.
How did you guys feel about it? Because I didn't really love it.
So Neon is very difficult to play on a map like Ascent, but it's very niche. You can bust it out here and there. I don't even know if they'll do it two games in a row on it. You know, it might just be a pocket pick that they run against certain teams. And certainly Icy didn't look as comfortable on the Neon as he does on Jet on that map. But in general, this team just seems to, on the defensive side of Ascent, just always take games and close them out on it. It's so hard to break through their defenses.
Yeah, in particular, I think what concerned me about the Neon, on the attacking side, Neon, a lot of the time the plays you're being set up for are like splits through mid, things like that, where you can get pretty isolated, and that wasn't working sometimes. But we're not starting there. We're starting on Lotus, and this is probably just going to be default comps as we see Kesnet rock that.
Yeah, presumably. Honestly, I'm just very focused on how Crew call their attacking side in this game, because I think you have to be really testing extremities, whether or not you can find lurk timings of using doors. Like, I think this is probably one of the harder maps to call, especially if it's a free-for-all in the Crew camp.
And that's the part that I'm worried about. It's like, are they going to be keeping up with those things? Because you know Valen will be.
And we're also just coming off of Super Week, so there's still not a lot of time to actually make adjustments coming into today, but Crew must make adjustments.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one, without a doubt, for Crew, who, coming out of stage one, were looking like the best team in the Americas region until playoffs hit, and then things started to fall apart a bit more. But meanwhile, their opponents on the other side of the stage, G2, has taken that Crew momentum and used it for themselves and have ridden that the whole way through. But you guys are right, as far as compositions goes, we're not getting anything too crazy. We'll see what happens.
It is another fill show for MTA, though, on the Viper here. So that's going to be a third brand new agent that he's going to be locking in and hope to find some comfort with it.
Yeah.
And the problem I see here for the side of Crew is that you're running a mirror against a team that is fundamentally sound, right? And this map pool is in favor, in my opinion, of G2. They love Lotus, they love Ascent, and they love Split.
Well, one thing we know, it's going to be a difficult one for Crew, but can they persevere? Let's go ahead and send it over to your casters. It's been a minute since we've seen the duo of Uber and Wyatt back together, so welcome back, fellas. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Great to be here, and what a match to kick things off with playoffs here in Stage 2 on the line. We have maybe the best caller in the Americas region, the Smiling Puppet Master, going up against Crew, who now apparently are calling by committee. Is it a well-oiled machine or a kangaroo court? We're about to find out.
For my money, Valen right now is the best IGL that we have in Americas, and you could certainly argue that he is the best in the world, and it might just be a field day for him against this rudderless Crew team. Kesnet, he's the IGL on the defensive sides, and on the attack, they're just trying their best to do it as a community to work together.
And we've heard that, Melsa has the last word in a lot of those situations, but there's a lot of back and forth. So let's jump in here to the pistol straight away. Crew attacking, Viper lurk wall set up, and a lot of players congregating here. The spike being held back.
That haunt is going to go out, but it's not going to catch a single player, given how passive Crew have been on this open.
Smoke's traded there over towards Mound as well. Icy has a crack at it. Valen opting not to swing with, they'll allow the door to shut.
And with this passive positioning from G2, just back in tree, unless they open that door, try and get a peek, which it looks like they might re-clear. It could be the Crew are pushing up there. They don't know, but there is the door opened and is smoked down as well. And obviously Crew, they're working towards Mound now. And the C site, pretty open.
G2 did get the re-clear at A, so now they can re-establish their resources elsewhere. Prowler obviously met over on the B side, but it's C side rather, but it's Leaf that you're trying to get through. One of the toughest nuts to crack on this roster. Paranoia goes whizzing past his right here, and he opts to give the space up as the smokes come down.
No option but to play for a retake, and these are situations where G2 thrive. The team is so regimented.
Shy tries to peek as he knows Kesnet's facing some scrutiny. Can't finish the kill. Smoke up on side to break it up just that little bit more as he would hope to peer over it. Paranoia connects with MTA, 2 players here. It's a reckless push there from Kesnet. He gets the one and it's traded out instantly. And out of the Shine Heat. Still in this post plant. Here's Leaf, swinging it at Heat from the high ground, able to get him, but gets taken low, and now it's up to Shy. Valen v Shy, and Valen gets the better of him. That's how G2 want to be starting.
What a lovely reposition there at the very end by the IGL. Getting that jump up onto the box. G2 on those set big retakes. They are always going to excel. This is a team where their core has been, they've been around forever, years at this point, only making a couple changes in those years. Bringing in Leaf, bringing in Icy most recently, and it's that foundation that allows them to be one of the best teams that we have right now.
Speaking of changes, Coach Adam from Crew, tweets out, he says, keep your expectations reasonable for MTA. He's filling some big shoes, some new roles as well. How many Viper games has he had so far?
Quite literally 0 rounds of Viper.
Right, that's not
played professionally. And he's talking about wanting to give him a bit of a chance to grow into this flex role.
They don't have time.
He was a duelist in LATAM, but they don't have time. They have 2 games left. This one and 1 more against C9. And the stakes here are obvious. The team that wins this, they are in playoffs.
Crew usually don't mince words on these saves. They usually go straight for the jugular and try and make something happen. Door thrown open there. Melza sees no one hiding back in that corner. It will be 2 stacked on this C side for G2. Standard smoke there as you see Melza lingering over towards that B side of the map. The lurk wall keeps Valen at 8 for now.
A little smoke from Valen offers a one-way opportunity for Jonah as this hit's going to come in. Catches it with the first.
Yeah, Leaf caught out there. Guardian finds purchase. Train here coming in from Waterfall would hope to wrap around, but he has to stay behind the turret, and Kesnet was waiting. He won't get back. That's 3. Huge for Crew. They make the investment in Kesnet. Get him a Guardian this round, and he has hit home.
They will always do it. They will spend the cash to give Kesnet a Guardian, or even a Vandal, a rifle on rounds like this, and it pays off massively.
Melza on the wrap. He bided his time over towards B, and it pays off now. It's all up to Valen. That's 2. Not too shabby. But G2 on the anti-eco come up short.
That is fantastic from Crew, and obviously from Kesnet starting off hot right now. He was statistically, for essentially all of stage 1, up there, him and Osbos, the top 2 duelists that we had, and it's been a bit slow for him so far in stage 2, but that is just outrageous. Economy is going to be swung. 3 players can recover a couple of G2's weapons there. Turning this game on its head early.
Kesnet able to make use of the smoke. Valen threw down there, playing from the edge of it.
And crucially now, Kesnet already 1 off of the showstopper. That is absurd.
Aggressive posturing from G2 at the A side here. This is going to narrow down the options for Crew, as it's going to be MTA hoping to play passively. Gets up the space here. Molly to buy himself a bit of room as the Prowler comes knocking.
And off of all of that pressure, look at the rest of Crew. They know that they can just walk into C here. So likely that on an anti-eco round, the defensive side will be stacked up together. Now that is the case, but Jonah gives an opportunity for G2 to maybe make a miracle happen and eco them right back.
UTL-wise, plenty for Valen to play off here. Let's see what he can cobble together.
Now this is nice. I love Crew taking this forward space.
Paranoid though, they kind of read it, but the weaponry favors Crew in a big way. Icy and Trent, last 2 standing. Now they're going to try and group up here through halls. It's a tough fight to take there for Icy and Melza. Bests him. Only Trent here. No time ready to work with whatsoever.
A nice call from Crew so far. I like how they're playing this attack half. In that 4v5, you want to get proactive. You want to take some of that space into halls. Fight those eco weapons close with your superior guns. They do just that. 4v5, but they convert it with ease. A nice shot from Jonah, who shown that he can be a deadly Viper on this map. Back at Shanghai was just putting up absurd numbers against teams the likes of Heretics, the best that we have in the game.
There.
We got guns, Wyatt.
And immediately it's going to be that Odin just spamming away towards A main. It's so common, of course, in Tree, the paper-thin walls. You get the opportunity to spam onto that ult orb close by as well.
Kesnet wants to move up here. Horn catches nothing. Takes the standard challenge, and that's going to be smoked off, allowing Crew here to scale into this part of the map through rubble.
Yeah, that attacking side crew yet to really burst out of A. They're taking their time, ready to absorb some of that G2 utility if it comes and then push up. Crucially though, again, eyes on Kesnet. He has got that showstopper so early into the game. The first buy round for G2, their economy could get cracked if they lose this round to crew, if they lose this round to Kesnet with that ultimate.
Jonah and Leaf potentially positioned to double up if the spike swings back in that C direction. And looks like that is what is afoot here.
Leaf is going to take that first contact. Oh, Nightfall to fake this? That is a huge investment.
Still though, embedded is Jonah P. Stuck around that corner, he hears all of this. G2 know all about this fake. He's selling it.
30 seconds
But they
left.
might have to actually commit in after it. They've given him that A side.
They're running all the way back. They've only got 25 seconds. Jonah is already on the flank through spawn. They could get flooded on by G2.
Valen was hoping for a timing, but he gets paranoid off the angle. G2 have to give up stairs now, play the retake on A. They're giving up all the map, but Jonah at least has a flank timing.
Not able to get in fast, our G2. The paranoia expended as well. Basically no utility to play with for this retake.
Tree smoked off. Satchel gets icy onto the side, but he's spotted out. Here's that showstopper we've been talking about. Kesnet finds one with the nades, one with the showstopper. Melsa did fall. 3 to work with for G2, and Jonah just can't win it out against Shy. Ugly now. His Dread has nothing to do but stand and deliver. Valen already comes up with a 1.
I was worrying when crew decided to go all the way back, feeling that it was open because I don't think the Nightfall connected with a single player. But that could have gotten seriously scrappy for them. But that showstopper, look at this paying off. The nade, into the drop. That's the freest kill you can get. There's nowhere for a player there to run. Catches the second. And it's Kesnet off to that hot start, turning the game in Crew's tides on 2 rounds now. That crucial anti-eco and the first gun round.
Crew have a tendency to push into stacks sometimes. They feel like they get close to the end of the round, they got to go for it. This time, no, not punished. As all the space gets given up. So passive from G2.
Fighting more aggressively for A now, or G2, and it's going to be Crew controlling Mound. Perhaps there for a second considering accelerating, but they're going to take things slow. No reason to throw any lives away needlessly on this anti-eco when the game is so much in your favor this early.
G2 so disciplined, they rarely ever overpeak. Maybe erring on the side of caution in this game so far.
And with Crew off to this great start, I'm thinking about the fact that they even picked this map in the first place. It's always been a rock-solid one for G2. Crew recently, they lost it to Sen. It was a very close game. And of course, Sen are one of the best teams that we have. But I was thinking going into this, maybe Crew would pick Icebox. They like that map. It's a weak one for G2, maybe Split even. But it's a bold choice. They're facing G2 on one of their strong maps.
Prowler's here to delay this push through tree, but it's going to be coming one way or another, and Valen is tapped up already. The Molly, scary prospect, unaffected by it for now, so we can actually maintain this drop position. Could be decent to take the attackers by surprise. Valen needs to find a timing and may have just given himself away there already. Poison Orb bloops on the high ground, and Valen, yep, he's got to pull the plug. TP to the high. MTA waiting for that one from the low ground. Double face by Crew. G2 are not in position yet.
So far, so good from the newly adorned flex player. MTA, historically a duelist, but
Letho coming in from the backside, only able to find the 1. Eventually, G2 have to commit in some way or another. It's ICV3. Satchel back to the high ground. Now we see at the edge of heat. Melsa comes knocking. And yet another for Crew here.
Rifles retained, and the economy is already getting outrageous for the LATAM side on attack. It is the favorite side of Lotus, and certainly so with these comps. They are the standard ones that we have seen all year long. Sometimes now when teams are throwing in the Neon and the Breach and even the Deadlock Cypher like Sen, maybe it gets a little bit more defensive-sided with that being the case, but historically, what we've seen with this standard 2024 stuff is that it is an attack-sided map, and it was the attack side where Crew almost had that miracle comeback against Sen, and what was it, 7 rounds in a row that they got, so opportunity for a very hot start as the underdog in this game.
Second gun round of the map here for G2. An opportunity now to claw some of those rounds back. Kesnet almost gets a catch there. And IC will be embedded right in this corner. Trenor calls for the Odin, can play off this to some degree. Spray through these walls, the Crew slowly inching forward. That's the door. Timing's good for Icy though. Will take one. Back away behind the paint shell. Takes a big hit though through that Viper wall and needs to fully extract himself.
Nicely done from Icy. Just gonna slip away with that satchel. Get away with his life. And this is a crucial moment actually for the Odin. Look at Shy. He's one off of getting the lockdown. And he knows that if he taps that orb, there's gonna be hellfire bullets coming through that wall. It's a massive risk to do so. Probably not going to be able to get that very crucial ultimate into the round.
G2 with a syncopation here though. They take that kill. Icy backs away. They slow the round down again. Trent hoping to catch something here, firing in through tree, but Ice for Crew turning over towards B now with 30 in the round.
Great paranoia for delay from Valen.
Melsa has to turn and deal with the turret. Crew now scrambling over the site. And patient for Valen, holds that angle, but can't get the better of Kesnet, who's having a game already.
And look at this proactivity from Crew and another post plant, the push up.
Again, Kesnet just going for it here, really leading the charge. Being very decisive on some of these little individual pops. He'll keep an eye on Heaven for the time being. Here is Leaf. Spots him once more. Kesnet now at least brought low. Leaf can clean him up. Melsa and Shy here, the ones standing front and center. And yeah, they're going to win it out.
Just lovely holds on the angles there from Shy and Melser. Shy so consistent for this team, but look at how they recover that from the man disadvantage that Icy had gotten. That lovely little play early into the round, the satchel off. The proactivity is beautiful from Crew there. I don't know who's calling that. It could be any of the 5 of them. I'm going to assume Kesnet, since he's the one taking point, taking space, taking frags, but what a nice way to convert a round that was seemingly lost. Continue this early momentum. Crew look electric.
I mean, how often do we see that like late round audible go to B with a player disadvantage work out? Really impressive stuff by Kesnet to surge up, to find a kill in Link and a kill in Upper to really set things up for Crew.
And typically with G2, I'm very impressed with their fast floods on this Lotus defense. You know, meaning when that attacking side is getting into the site, when the spike is being tapped, they will explode back in with a utility before it's even planted. And they have not been able to do that so far. And frankly, on one of those earlier rounds, I believe round 4, they were definitely given an opportunity to do so. It was the one where Heat had sent that Nightfall into A and they were gathered up around it. But they've been slower in those moments that I'm used to seeing from them. And it's given Crew this opportunity to really, you know, take the bull by its horns in those moments, be the team that's being proactive.
You know, so much of the narrative here was about how G2 would be inherently favored, being a really meticulous, you know, very calling, heavy team. But they've given up so much of the map time and again to Crew that they've had to mount these retakes that have seemed ill-fated from the outset. They'll be again down to this pistol buy wire. Yes, of course, a lockdown and Nightfall to work with, but everything else looking a little shabby.
Several big ultimates in play. You know, G2 would be happy on this round just to get that showstopper out of Kesnet's hands, get Shy to be forced to use that lockdown in an awkward situation. Kesnet is on fire, man. This is absurd. What is he at? 12 kills already? 12 for 3? Something like that? I mean, this is the Kesnet that we know, the Kesnet that was taking over in stage 1, that led Crew on that 5-game winning streak. It's been downhill since then.
What is going on?
I mean, he is doing his damnedest to bring them back into a winning position.
He sees the hopes of playoffs glimmering there. In fact, funnily enough, Crew's sort of backslide recently started with that loss in the upper bracket of the playoffs of stage 1 to G2. Kind of coming full circle in a way.
Yeah, they had lost their first game in stage 1. It was the very last one, a nail-biter against Lev, who at the time, you know, Lev and Crew, they were the 2 best teams, the 2 that were the top of the Alpha and Omega groups. And then G2 just smacked them around in the playoffs. Such a clean 2-0. Just kicked them off the mountaintop, and they haven't been able to climb back up since.
And again, we'll have G2 set up here, looking to perish to the blast. I want to find a quick and easy meal as Crew start to back away from this site here. And going back, I mean, the last losses for G2 on Lotus were top teams. I mean, Heretics, Gen G, I think Leviathan before that, so they've generally been very solid on this map. But now they're going to feed themselves to the beast. And the hunger's definitely there for Crew. 6-1 here. It's been a great attacking half thus far.
I mean, as you just said, yeah, G2, they only lose to the GOATs on this map. They've only lost to Gen G Heretics, the finalists of Shanghai, where G2 made their run that no one expected. You know, we would have thought the crew could have been, should have probably been after Sage won one of the teams at Shanghai, but it was G2, a team that most people counted out of that race. They make it all the way to top 3. They just need one win to make the playoffs. And this rejuvenated crew may just stop them.
Okay, is the third time the charm for G2. Looking for a gun round win, just to build some bank.
And again from crew, they're really just not bursting out of A. They are happy to just take, you know, that utility in from G2, bait a bit of it out, and go back, get that space later if they want to. But right now, gathered up outside of B. Dispatching some of that utility, but also of Jonah P. What an entry from Melser.
He set up on B. Lockdown, of course, here deployed by Shy to try and set this up. We are going to have a Venn diagram of those Killjoy ults here. Melser says, perhaps I'm needed elsewhere. The rest of the crew falling back over towards Baby Door now. And the TP out towards Mound. Well and truly away from the action. Here's the showstopper, though. Icy trying to make his way in. MTA, though, nipping at his heels. Heat might try and make a pincer of this, and G2 can fight their way out. Now it's Melser all alone. He was a long way from the action. Now the win vicinity to intervene. Paranoia over towards the spike, but from above it's Fallon! That's beautiful! One more and he's got the job done. Trend is half. Back through the smoke, he goes and he receives Melser with open arms. Now G2 can do something with this, but they would have loved to have brought a couple more guns into the next.
Absolutely. I mean, Trent does his best in that situation and he succeeds, right? Just playing the time on the spike nicely. Invested a lot into that retake. Trent as well sent in that Nightfall. Icy invested that Showstopper to get the first pick, and it was a crucial one, no doubt. It allows them, you know, more space in that Baby Door where all of crew were gathered up. That investment is massive from the side of G2. And look at the state of their economy. If they lose this, they're going to be on a tragic eco just that fast.
Crew, however, are playing with house money. Immediately, Viper's Pit here over on C, wanting to funnel crew maybe in towards his Killjoy utility. Prowler will check briefly.
Yeah, he threw out that haunt towards Mound as well, so they know they have that control there. And Heat does have one more Prowler, which is an effective counter to the Viper's Pit. It can seek out Jonah P, get the information on his position, try and spam him down, or, you know, take that moment to push through the pit. But they're going to avoid that entirely. They're going to work their way back to A. They're going to have to use that Prowler. You have to clear out back rubble. Prowler from Trent.
That's in response to a Nanoswarm that got thrown by Shy into the Viper's Pit here, implying some maintained presence from crew at C. Again, really light hold for G2 over at A. They're going to give up much of this, I'd say. Trent's going to get some action here, though.
And that one way over the tree from Fallon.
Dear.
Some damage coming through, but that is crucial. They're going to have to wait that out because they don't have any Prowlers to go through. They can't just throw away their lives there. So further delay from the side of G2 to fight for A with the clock getting low. 22 seconds left.
Paranoia still up here for Valen. You can absolutely play off that. Plant attempt here for Heat. That was the Paranoia that got thrown through. And finally Icy chooses this moment to appear from Baby Door. Attacking Viper's Pit now set up on the side, but they're still going to go for it. Here comes a Nightfall, and immediately Kesson is brought down. League tries for another one. It's Shy and MTA to try and hold it down. And Trent is taking his time. Shy, a loose end. Will he see Icy's dome here as he swings around? The timing might not favor him, and it doesn't. G2 get themselves now in a 4v1, and Jonah P, better to be effective than clean, gets the job done.
And all of a sudden, things are not looking too bad for G2. They get 4 rounds on the board. That's not bad for Lotus defense if you convert that second half pistol round. They're starting to get into the game, and honestly, it's Icy doing it. You know, a duelist that, frankly, if you look at the scoreboards, if you look at the stat sheet, pales in comparison to someone like Kesnet, who has been one of the top duelists in the game since the dawn of the game, since 2020. But it's the impact kills from Icy. A few first bloods already.
And the contrast is crazy, right? You have Icy, the system duelist. He's locked into the structure versus the maverick of Kesnet. He's the one that is making these decisions, trying to be proactive and leading the way in many of these attacking rounds. You can see the contrast play out there as Icy is able to find crucial kill involvement and an inflection point in that round.
Absolutely, and Crew, they're now forced onto that timeout. I do really respect Adam as a coach. I think he's been massively influential in the ascension of Crew that we've seen, you know, since it kind of began last year. They had that flash in the pan run at LCQ, you know, struggled when they made champs and struggled in the kickoff this year, but then finally went on the most consistent run that they had with those 5 wins in a row. And I do think he really does deserve a lot of credit for it.
And he's had more work to do since that run, because then he's had to come up with a solution. Obviously, with Klaus moving to the bench, MTA struggled with injury in the first part of this season. Now has a chance to come in, but has to pick up the flex role. And so many of these agents he's just not touched. So far, not so bad.
You know, so long as he can find his way as that role player, provide the utility needed, I'm not looking for him to light the world on fire. I'm just looking for him to do his job. Crew have more than enough firepower. Kesnet, how good Melser's been this season. Heat, that new addition.
Again, aggressive posturing here, but Melser punishes Icy. System duelist down, folks. Prowler through the wall means that, yes, Crew still want to go for this. They have to expect some more Baby Door presence, and Jonah P mowed down as well. One after another, G2's defensive architectures are being torn to pieces.
Smoke from Valorant to control tree. That was the first time Crew really burst out A and fought very aggro early. No one from G2 were ready to break that haunt. A misplay, and it cost Icy his life. Not the kind of thing you expect from G2. Surely a player should be ready for that.
Tried to throw in a variation. Did G2? Maybe sick of giving up that A side of the map every single round. The Crew love that. They love taking contact. They want to push out on you early in the round and fights. Baby Door smoke here. This will much to be Leaf's chagrin. Paranoia is going to force Valen off this angle. Now Tree under the control of Crew, and they are far from done. Valen able to find a good little peek there. Leaf getting involved as well. Trip with the C's. Buy a bit of time now as Leaf has a bit of a crossfire with him.
Lovely setup.
Last player standing.
There it is. Okay, Spike goes loose and it's Melser. Started the round well, now has to salvage it. Pretty darn good stuff there for Crew.
Absolute hero, Crew. Hoping that noise cut would cause some kind of rotation, but for G2, unnecessary. They're in a 3v5. Let's take a little bit of a risk. Let's go off of a read from Valen that we can just be steadfast in this site, and it was almost the undoing of Crew. Less from Melser just having such a round. I mean, look at that horn again. It lit up all 3 players. No one prepared to break it. Just a fundamental error that puts them on the back foot. Some energy for these Crew players finally after a dismal first 2 weeks.
He's playing entry on that A side as Omen.
I think at this point has even overtaken Kesnet on the scoreboard, which is pretty wild. And now Crew are back to that slow start towards A. You know, they have that KJ turret, watching for any push out towards Mound, which is something G2 really haven't opted for. And they win the fights here again, Crew.
Hard to see what the plan is there for G2. Standing out in the open as much as that util drops down, they just straight up lose their duels. Wise man once said, you got a shot, you die. G2 now down to 3. 2 players from stairs for G2, and they're going to rely on pulling Leaf out, maybe playing from upper A as a third.
And what do? Do they go for a 3v5 with the economy in this dire of a situation? Do they want to be on eco for the final round?
They've never had a good buy this entire map so far. Last couple of rounds have been as good as it's gotten, and it's still not been enough. Leaf makes the swing, finds one. That's the best he can hope for, though. And now they're stacked up for Kesnet, and he had that feast on him. This is getting out of hand.
A rare indecision there from G2, and frankly, you just have to go for the save, man. 3 players alive. Look at the economy when we get back in. It is tragic for their side. You know, surely they just save those up. Try to go for that 4th. I do think 4 rounds is that kind of that comeback threshold for an attack-favored map.
Is this early pop facilitated for G2 by any util that we can really see? Because it feels like if that util, the walls come down, they've got nothing but raw aim to try and win.
You're absolutely right. You know, this is a G2 that look a bit unlike themselves, and you know, perhaps it's Crew's play right now, their confidence, you know, their willingness to be so proactive, swing together, that's throwing them off their game a little bit. But you know, you expect better fundamentals here from a team like G2.
They have the unmitigated confidence of your average reply guy right now, Crew. They do not care. Here it is, Satchel for Icy. He tries to posture, at least some confidence to convince himself and get smashed. That's not good for the mental. Not great for the round either.
And those G2 players, they don't even feel confident enough to try to swing, try to get that trade. And I mean, frankly, that is a good decision. Look at the firing squad from Crew. Crosshairs trained on that angle. It wasn't just MTA close, it was the rest of them towards Mound. And there was a Prowler to re-clear towards A. Just feign like they're going to head towards Rubble, re-clear all that space, maybe go for the hit, but it's all about getting into Mound here. Kesnet with his 20th showstopper of the half, it feels like.
Here comes Kesnet. It's got to be at least a 30. Will he check his right? No! He gets it in time. 21 HP in a dream. Guy's got plot armor today, folks. Some serious protagonist energy.
What a flick shot. Shades of Rafa there, Mitch. Little old man reference. Now into the 5-on-3.
Is anyone else in the I do. That's the sad part. My goodness. MTA here will be the most forward player set up on that ramp here. Smoke towards Halls is going to cut Trent out of the action for now, but Shai just sits and bides his time. G2 steamrolled in that first half.
I mean, that is the best crew that I have seen so far in this stage, bar none. The communal calling system, it was working out there. They were hitting the right sites for the most part. I loved how they were playing towards A. Mostly slow, mostly to re-clear in the mid-round, but out of that timeout, they chose the perfect time to hit that area of the map hard. Really catching out G2, making them look so out of sorts.
And the confidence is there. It's absolutely brilliant. Kesnet 17-7, Melsa 14-5. Much more to come from this series in general. The second half of Loyals will be up on the other side of this quick break. Welcome back, everyone, as we're in the middle of a halftime here on Lotus between Crew and G2. Crew currently up right now. We just want to take this opportunity to extend a formal apology to Kesnet. We were not familiar with your game, brother, and we're really sorry about that because you're kind of popping off, my king. In any case, though, let's move on, though. Talk about Kesnet. The man has been on fire, Ender. Nothing can stop him.
Yeah, and so much so that on round 2, after losing Pistol, Shai buys Kesnet a Guardian. Kesnet buys himself heavy armor, and then he drops a 4K to win out here. They didn't buy anything else.
That snowballed a lot for them.
Exactly, because then it's shutting G2 down, so they can't buy in round 3. Then round 4, they've got their buy again, but Kesnet has ultimate already online. He uses that to win another round. G2's econ is broken again, so it's a string of 5 rounds in a row for Crew.
Yeah, especially in the state of VALORANT right now, it's so snowbally and there's so much momentum involved into it. And I guess he did wake up saying to himself that he was ready to play.
I guess that interview was real.
So yeah, I mean, you know, that's the benefit of you know, running something like this where you don't have an IGL. You really do have the freedom to do whatever you please, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But honestly, they looked like they were doing things good. It was
yeah. I mean, especially like how they were playing together in their post plants was lights out from.
Well, now we're flipping the switch here. Let's see what Crew could do on the defense. We're going to send it back over to Uber and Wyatt to call the action.
Absolutely ruthless opener to this series by Crew. Kesnet with 17 frags in the first half.
And now it's his job to IGL on the defense. They've talked about that community calling style on attack where Melser will make the final decision if there's a bit of back and forth. But on defense, it is the Kesnet show. And frankly, their defense in Stage 2 so far, I have not liked it too much. Against Sen on this map, They were throwing some rounds away in tragic fashion, losing 4v2s and throwing the map away because of it. It was a 13-11 loss. Jonah P again with that Sheriff.
That is long range through that lurk wall. He's created an opening on the A side here. Crew starting to filter now across through B, but G2 aren't committed to heading to that extremity yet. In fact,
they are working their way back towards MTA, the new addition, who's been solid so far. Will he try to escape? Wow, lovely tap. Facing two more.
That's
chance to get his confidence up.
Gets the 2. Icy has to expend some utility to bring him down, but Leaf has got a timing. He always has one, but Kesnet is ready. And Leaf throws his head back. Frustration, I'm sure. He felt like he had the soul read, but Kesnet doesn't have one.
And now silently it's G2 just creeping into that B site. Jonah P pressed up. He's already got one nice shot with the Sheriff. He's going to have to do a lot more with Icy this low on HP.
No util to work with. Here's the double swing around the corner into a 5 HP target. We know how these go. Kesnet, check your 6, son. Okay, 1 for 1. Jonah P here with a big iron. That's 1. 50 HP in a dream. Heat not looking much better with only a ghost to work with. Gives it a tap. Here comes Jonah. He gets stuck on the corner. Slowed up by those shots, and Heat finishes the job. Could have gone either way, but Crew, that's almost a death blow to G2 here.
Looks like he might have even hit that scroll wheel as well to his detriment. Awkward little jump at the end. You know, I think if he just tried to strafe out of the way, he might have made it, but I think that was just a bit of a mishap there. Kesnet with that read onto Leaf. The awareness, that single shot, oh my god, that is filthy work from Jonah for the entry. And unfortunately, that was all for naught.
Oh yeah, just caught on the masonry there. Yeah, that was after he thought he had a timing on Kesnet, did Leaf. Pushed up towards Link. G2 are running out of time. Valen tapped up as he tries to TP behind this lurk wall. He's going to go for something harebrained here. Wide, I can feel it. Gets caught by a Prowler.
Oh, that looks like the perfect nade. Valen just around the corner. And of course, it's the star of Crew, Kesnet. They are always going to get that upgraded rifle for him whenever they can. Round 2, full armor, Vandal in his hands.
He's on 1 right now. It'd be crazy not to serve him up whatever he asks for. Now G2 slow it down. They don't fully pull out of rubble though. Oh man, they're taking so much poke. Jonah now down to 35 as well.
And you know, despite talking about how against Sentinels, Crew's defense was very lackluster, a lot of silly mistakes, thrown away rounds, will that even matter at this point? When they've converted this pistol, when they're surely going to be up 11-3, surely G2 wouldn't bring this one back from the brink.
I see what you're doing. I don't like it. I don't like it. G2 slowed up there. Snakebite Poison Orb combination says no.
30
We're down to 29 in the round. Still very distributed across the map. Our Crew, they're not sure that G2 have committed to this, but we know that they will be ending seed. MTA steps up for 1, gets traded out pretty instantly now. Help is on the way, but a little bit slow. Shy and Kesnet to play through waterfalls. Leaf sprays wildly through the masonry at them. It's Kesnet caught out by a Prowler. And Shy tries to wrap to the left, finds nothing. Forced back. Kesnet wants to hold his ground, but he goes 1 for 1. At least Shy can get the trade. Weaponry, though, is good for Crew. And out to 2v1. Trent can't get it done. Shy for 4. With arguably the weakest weapon brought in the round by Crew, but that's a side note, and they have converted 11-3.
Shy and Kesnet had me sweating there, I'm not going to lie. The duo was close to the C site, so they just tried to spill their way in, but their other 2 teammates were so far away. Oh, that could have gone south.
And yes.
I mean, Shy barely crossed back in one of those moments with 6 HP from sight in the waterfall. One of those stray right-click classic bullets hit him. Oh, that could have gotten so bad for Crew. But they're able to convert.
I mean, that is beautiful from Shy. They kind of disrespect the smoke thrown behind them there that staggers them out from the rest of their team. So it essentially makes it, you know, 2 instances of 2v4 there for Crew. Shy, they're built a little bit different. There's a good chance here, I think, to put G2 under the microscope a little bit now, as they're going to have one real chance here to have a successful gun round to stay in this map. A map that they have only lost once in Americas this whole season. They look they don't look themselves. I'll say that much.
No, they really didn't on that defensive half. I think they're going to have a serious mental reset after this map. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but this lead just feels insurmountable, and it doesn't feel like their heads are in the game right now. Josh RT, their long-standing coach, going to try to fix that. The man that's been with them for, like a year and 7 months now. Brought them to that Ascension tournament, got them into partnership, has been such a great coach with the team, but with only 3 on the board against Crew's 11. How much can one coach do?
Crew don't bring many weapons back into this round, so it's a little bit of an underpowered bonus, but boy, do they have a buffer of rounds to work with, Wyatt.
Melser heads up, purchases that Outlaw G2, all light armors, 1 shot from him. That connects will result in a kill.
That's why Melser's playing an off angle over towards Mount here, not the usual one. But he won't see any action this early.
Crew are really stacked up towards C right now. Perhaps a little bait play. They're hoping that Melser maybe gets that first contact, teleports off, and then the rest of the team try to push in.
The read is good. G2 have done this quite a few of these attacking rounds, right? Pop towards A, pull out over towards C. Melser, he's waiting. Spinning the web, but force off the angle here by the Prowler. He'll have to fall back now behind that smoke here and give control of Mount to G2.
But do they dare commit? Does Valen have the read on this? Or will they commit to their own peril?
Does he have the cojones for this?
No, when it looks like he just wants to keep some presence on C. Keep Melser's attention there. Perhaps some other players. Typically, the KJ is going to be there. You could see him trying to clear out that utility while the rest of the team work back towards A. Valen, a little too wise for a play like that.
The hourglass is running thin though, Wyatt. 23 seconds left in the round, and now G2 need to take this up a gear. Prowler into tree, clear it. Satchel now into showstopper. ICC's nothing, nada, zilch. But space has been created for G2 to get a post plant set up here, and Valen finds the right side of Melser on the B side.
And at this point, Crew, they'll be content just dealing as much damage as they can against G2.
Valen knows it. He's about to get double-faced here. MTA first, and Shy second. Oh, that's... Well, not what he's looking for there. That was ugly spray. Giving up a gun there is going to hurt. The rest of the cleanup should be relatively elementary. It's now 2 Vandals for Crew. Still more damage to do, and that's all Kesnet wants. He wants to rattle the cage. Rouse a bit of a rabble. This is all he's going to get for the round here. Kesnet will be bowing out as G2. Oh, give up another gun. Oh, man. It doesn't get any easier, Wyatt.
And already even going down, inching closer to getting the showstopper activated again. In the first half, he had a 3 rounds into the game.
Make sure to cover the
and he's almost about to do the same, just 3 orbs away now. Shy with all those kills earlier, close to the lockdown. And frankly, Mitch, this is the trouble with trying to make comebacks happen in Valorant. Eventually, everyone is going to be able to press Q and probably win that round, probably get to 12 on the board.
Yeah, so you have like 1 or 2 deterministic round wins, in theory, per half at least. And that's all Crew really need. Still, now Crew make the buy. Decent conversion off the bonus, I suppose, damage-wise. Valen, every start of the round he gets caught. This time, of course, the Seas catches him out.
Oh, G2, please. I mean, these are the mistakes that you would never expect from a team like this. 2 times now in Rebel fights, no one breaking the haunt, several players getting lit up, 3 kills for Crew. So disastrous, man. So unlike them.
We're talking about the most meticulous, disciplined team in Americas. Right now, they look extremely scattered. Prowler's pass like ships in the night as G2 are still grouped up towards Rubble, and Kesnick says, "Don't mind if I do." Flawless here for Crew on the precipice of a comfortable map 1 win.
And just this attempt to brute force back into Rubble, getting bogged down by more utility, more presence being shown there from Heat, more Prowlers. Look at this on, and then it brings up another player there. Easy spray from Melser. Oh, this is...
The Fade util has been sterling the start of these rounds.
It has been. And Heat, one of 2 flex players on this team that used to be a duelist. Him and MTA.
Keep him coming.
That's been the recipe for success, apparently, on Crew. Maybe things will work out for MTA, Mitch.
Once more, G2 probe A, and in previous rounds they pulled out to trend towards C. This time they linger a little longer. 2 Vandals boy into the round.
Bring them down.
And cobbled together by shambolic for G2 this game has been.
2 Sheriffs for them. Trent is 1 orb away from that Nightfall if they can find it somewhere. But that's going to be tough with his presence from Crew on this A side.
Alarm bot at B2. Crew know about this. They can set up for Baby Door now. Again, they're all grouped up, not really where they want to be. Jonah able to win out there in rubble is good. Spike on the way through. Heat under pressure here with the C's. And the rocket from Kesnit lands true. He knows to summon an upper. It's Icy playing safe with nothing but that Sheriff to work with here. And the Spike is still heading over to A now.
I like this Heat. Kesnit staying doubled up, fighting together, double facing. Lovely fundamentals.
G2 can't break this Baby Door position. They struggle with it all round. All the util in the world, all the King's forces, and man couldn't get them in there. And now VALORANT has to turn tail and run, and he won't be fast enough. What a drubbing! And what a way to make a statement to start the series with playoffs on the line. Crew deliver on Lotus.
And that is a shocking result on Lotus of all maps. I thought it was bold from Crew to pick this into G2. G2, who have only in recent times lost this to Genji and Heretics, the 2 finalists of Shanghai. The Crew lost this to Sen just a couple weeks ago. Threw so many rounds on their defense in that game and come out firing on all cylinders, looking absolutely electric. And now we're going to head to their map, or rather G2's map next, Ascent. That's going to be a tough one for them, but they only need 1 more map win to get into the playoffs for Stage 2.
We need to see systematic improvements for G2 to make this a competitive series, though. It's a bit of an ugly Ascent for Crew lately. We'll see if that also will be the case. We're going to step away and bring the desk and GB back in to break down our first map.
Every time I needed a new phone, I had to switch carriers.
I told him, at Verizon, everyone can get the best deals. Like that iPhone 15 on them.
Switching all the time, it wasn't easy.
35. You're gonna be here forever.
I know.
Here's your wireless contract.
Do I need a lawyer for this? Those were hard days.
Representative switch.
Now that I got a huge storage and battery upgrade, I'm officially done switching.
New and existing customers get iPhone 15 on us when they trade in any iPhone, any condition, guaranteed.
I really wish you told me sooner.
I did.
Red Bull gives you wings.